Hey guys, it's Sunday morning and it's been 3 days since I got the result that I passed the teacher's licensure board examination. And you guys, I am now a licensed teacher. It's been 3 days since the results came out for my licensure exam for teachers, and I just want to say that it didn't really fully sink into me just yet. I just want to take this time to share to you my thoughts on how this is special to me. Well, I took the board exam last June 26, 2022, but it has been surreal for me. Why is that? Because I took it for the first time. I only had self-review and less than a month preparation. I'm not an education major, by the way. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Physics, and I only took DPE or CPE units. That was like 7 years ago. And the thing is, I was an absentee student back then. So how did I pass the board exam? So let me just show you guys how this is special to me, or why this is quite impossible. So I was a teacher for 9 years for both private university and high school levels. Yes, but I did not have a license to teach just yet because I did not have an education major. I just graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Physics. So what I did is I took DPE or education units for me to get that license. I probably finished it by 2014 or 2015, I'm not even sure. But most of the time, reality is I'm absent in the classes. I would only show up when there's a scheduled test or a report. And praise God, I was able to sort of get good grades from those quizzes. Maybe because of trying to get context clues and analyzing questions. But I know that the licensure exam is very different. I know that there are a lot of principles that I did not hear of yet. There, especially when it comes to the prof ed part, I know it will be my major challenge. So back then, I was so hesitant to take the board exam. Finally, at January 2020, I decided to apply to take the board exam, and then the lockdown happened, so I wasn't able to take it that year. I was scheduled to take it, to cut the story short, I was scheduled to take it this year at 2022. So I took the exam on June 26, 2022. Only me and my best friend knew about this. So I took it silently because for me it's so impossible, and I don't know, I don't want to be pressured by people. So I just want to do it on my own. When the results came out, only my two roommates knew about it, my best friend and her sister. So I kind of took the board exam silently and I celebrated silently. And I never even thought of sharing this type of content here on my YouTube channel, but for the past 3 days, I have this certain conviction in my heart to sort of share it, because I have certain things, I have certain thoughts in my head that I want to put out there, and not because I want to brag, but I actually want to share my thoughts on this, because I told you guys it's very impossible for me to pass that exam. Like, for you guys it might be easy, but for me it's, I don't know the principles that I'm going to encounter there. So my motivation here is not really to brag and talk about the results. I'm just here to share to you guys the main 3 things on why I think I was able to pass the exam, and hopefully it will help you and inspire you if you're someone who wants to take the board exam, or if you're someone who wants to pursue your dreams and aspirations. So yeah. So let's start with the fact that I did not enroll myself in a review center. That could be the best thing that I could do, knowing that I did not really studied well when I was taking DPE or CPE units. But the thing is, I chose not to enroll because I had this past experience before, maybe around 2015. I was still thinking about taking the board exam, but I did not. However, I enrolled myself in a review center. So it so happened that during the first session, our instructor had a lot of mistakes. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't afford to learn from someone who had a lot of mistakes. And how would I know if it's a mistake in the future? Like in the future, I was thinking, how would I know if it's a mistake or not? Because, you know, I don't really have background knowledge when it comes to education principles. But that time I was sure that those are not the correct answers, but that's what the instructor said. So I felt like that specific instructor wasn't sure about what he was doing. And then we had the second session. I still observed. I felt like I was wasting my time there. The way they conduct the reviews, I felt like it was not efficient and not aligned to my learning style, my needs, so I decided to stop. And I'm not saying that all review centers are like that. Maybe my situation was just unique, but that's the reason why I did not enroll myself in review centers. So my advice to you is you do your research first, and if you really want to enroll to review centers, make sure to find ones that are very much reliable and have good reputation. My dog wants to join me. I'm actually off to church, but this baby will be staying behind. So sorry, baby girl. You have to be healthy first. Okay, say hi. Hi! So here are the top 3 things that I think helped me pass this board exam. Number 1 is find reliable materials online. So the best next thing to do if you're not enrolling to a review center is to find reliable materials online, right? And I tell you, there are a lot of materials available for free, but they're not reliable at all. So what I did is I randomly picked certain items from the questionnaire that I got, and then I would test them, compare my answer to the answer sheet, and then also try to research. So on those items that I'm very sure of the answer about, like in general education or when it comes to my major, I have had experiences with online materials where the answers are wrong. So the answer key is not reliable at all. So you have to be very careful on that. When it comes to downloading materials online, you have to take it with a grain of salt. Well, this is very crucial to me. As what I told you, I didn't have professional education background when I was in college, and I barely learned about it when I was taking education units. Because I did not have the right motivation, and it's 40% of the overall rating in the exam, it kind of resulted to lack of motivation, and I did not prepare properly at all. So with only less than a month left, I need to work smart. So here's my number 2. Watch Sir Melvin Buracho's YouTube video. So about 1 month before the exam, I was searching for reviewers on YouTube. That's when I stumbled upon Sir Melvin Buracho's YouTube channel. The way he explained Prof Ed principles really amazed me. It made me understand it so well, and it made it easier for me to digest certain principles that I didn't have any background knowledge about. He was so effective. I watched some of his videos and I was convinced that I have finally found a good resource for me to review. And you know, there are times where I would just play his videos while I was about to sleep or doing the laundry. He's very, very helpful, and this is actually not sponsored, but I felt like you guys should know about this. You should know about this amazing man who is helping a lot of aspiring teachers to prepare properly for the board exam. By the way, he offers Gen Ed and Prof Ed reviews. So the remaining 1 month, I finally found a bit of motivation, but to be honest, I had some personal issues and I wasn't really able to give my 100% in preparing for my board exam. I didn't even prepare properly for my major subject because 1 week prior to the exam, that was my set schedule because I was cramming, right? However, something came up, something very personal came up. So yeah, I wasn't able to really prepare on that part. So I was just banking on my previous physics knowledge. That's a good thing about teaching it, right? You kind of have it within you. But when it comes to chemistry, that's where I find it more challenging. So I even thought that I would fail because of chemistry. And here's the number 3, pray and put God first. It sounds cliche, but guys, always include God in the equation. I know that ultimately it was God who made it possible for me. One thing that I realized is this: it is possible to pursue your dreams, your license, or career without sacrificing your time and service to God. I mean, I only had less than a month to prepare. I could have spent every single day and night that I'm free to study, right? I could have had a valid reason to say no to God and to say no to serving Him. But I don't think sacrificing our time with God is the key to passing the board exam. We should never allow pressure to compromise our love and our devotion to God. Contrary to what others are doing, you don't have to choose between God and your career. And if really, when it comes to a point where you have to choose, then choose the source, choose God. Because He is the source of every good gift. It's not a solution. It is never a solution to abandon God in pursuit of your career or your dreams. You shouldn't see God as an obstacle between us and our dreams or career or license. I mean, I consider God as my partner, my source of wisdom and strength. Well, I'm not saying that if you love and serve God, you automatically would pass a board exam. That's not the case. God did not promise that. What I'm saying is I hope that we don't make God as a major obstacle or major roadblocks to our dreams, because He's not. He is actually a good father and He wants to partner with you. And regardless if you pass or fail, He still deserves your love, your commitment, your devotion, regardless of what happens. To be honest, I really had no plans on sharing this. I even took the board exam secretly, but I felt like for the past 3 days I have been convicted and I have these realizations in my mind, and I want to share it with you, hoping that it will make sense to even at least one. I'd be happy. So whether you're an aspiring let taker, a professional, or a student who is dreaming for your career, don't allow pressure to persuade you that God is stopping you from reaching your dreams. Instead, consider God as your good father, the source of good gifts. He cares for you and He loves you so much. So please don't compromise your love, your devotion, your service to God. Make Him your partner instead. So after all, we follow God not because of the success or answered prayers. We follow Him for who He is. Because, God never promised us that our lives will be perfect once we follow Him or we give our lives to Him. So yeah, that's it. Basically, I just want to encourage you guys to not allow your desire to be successful to take you away from your relationship with God. Well, I guess that's it. God deserves all the glory for this one. He Himself made this possible for me, and I am also praying for you. Hoping for the best, and may the Lord God bless you. Bye!